Buenos dias, everybody. Hola, my friends. My name is Maris, and welcome to my sacred space in the homestead. And this is my room in the rough. Yeah, it's still trying to figure it out. It's like one of those rooms. I've got a really pretty view, but the sun is really warm in the afternoon, so my husband makes me put the blinds down. And anyway, so it's one of those chance favors a prepared kind of day, and prepared mind kind of day. And then it's also time for a weekend energy forecast. It's Thursday, and Thursdays are your days of prosperity. So don't forget to blow that cinnamon, asking for abundance to enter into your sacred space. And using blue sage today. Just kind of let that smoke permeate there for just a moment. So, any ideas on what I can do about that? You know, it's not really into that light fixture. But we're using the Medicine Woman deck, but feel free to comment what kind of fixture would look really cool there. Because I'm all about receiving some insight from other people. I may be able to see energy, but I can't always see things like cosmetically. Speaking of that, Monday I did a Pamela Anderson, and I was really surprised. I had not one person say a word to me about Maris, where's your makeup? I was watching the video about Pamela Anderson, and where she was being interviewed, and she had like absolutely no makeup on. And you're looking at her like, that's not Pamela Anderson, but you know it's Pamela Anderson. And I was like, I love the way that she felt so comfortable being in her total, raw, authentic self. And it really, really made a difference in my perspective. So I tried it on Monday. Nobody said anything to me, so I don't know. Was I even really expecting anybody to say anything to me? I don't know. This weekend is the Ionic Foot Detox Fest, where we're offering them for $25 for a 30-minute, $35 for a 45. You can also get a reading if you'd like during that, and they're 25 and 35. So it's the same, but we can do readings and Ionic Foot detoxes. And let's go. Wow. Okay, so we've got a pretty, I'm going to go like this instead. Got a pretty interesting message. You know, interesting is one of my words. Starting out over here. Again, we're using the Medicine Woman deck. I'm here at my sacred space, my little homestead that we moved into a couple of months ago, and it's a very slow work in progress. And it's also Mercury retrograde. It started today, and it goes through, August 11th? So I'm like, No, I usually don't mind the Mercury retrogrades. And the reason being because it's a good time for self-reflection and working on self. And it's a great time to be in hermit mode, and nobody will be thinking that you're, like in hermit mode. Is there anything else for us to know? Oh, look, something fell. I'll be right back. And, okay. Alright, so let's go with what we've got here. Do me a favor, love this video. Comment where you're watching from. And share. So our first card here is unconditional love, and this is the energy coming in. And the message that came up to me straight up was about being very biased in opinions. So this is like a generalized reading for the public here. So in this, it's saying that we're kind of being very narrow-minded and not thinking or looking outside the box. So our biases have been blocking us from kind of moving forward. And I'm going to say creating a sense of inner ugliness is the phrase that I get here. Now, this is interesting. Yeah, this is our obstacle card, and it's all potentialities. And when I'm looking at this, the message that I got, and I'm going to just kind of flip it over here. And you see they kind of look a little bit on the spiritual warrior side. However, when I'm looking at it upside down, the message that I got on here was that in all of your battles, you've been burning some bridges. So it's narrowing even potential abilities. And then the helps card here is male principle, and it's upside down. And when I'm looking at that one, the one thing that came straight up into my head was, oh my gosh, you know what we've been doing? We've been acting big and bad and ballsy and not really looking at the whole story, only at the part of the story, maybe only going with whatever our personal biases are, and we're neglecting the things that are around us. And we're being called here to tame that big and ballsy. Being called to tame the big and ballsy. So that's the energy coming in. And now we're going to go with what's going to happen with it. And this is if you just sit back and don't do anything at all. You sit back and don't do anything at all. You just let the energy flow. And we start out here with sacred ceremonies upside down. Message straight up on that one when I'm looking at that is kind of a continuation of burning those bridges, that you kind of notice that you're not feeling and not feeling very spiritual today. You know, that kind of feeling. Disconnected. So there's a further disconnect in that energy. Now, when we were looking at the last line, it had that male aspect and up in the upside down. And I said, well, that's where we're going to have to be taming the big and ballsy. Well, here's the issue here, is that we're kind of taming a little bit of everything across the board, and it's getting to a place that it is what I'm going to call rather bland and tasteless, and that bland and tasteless doesn't really take us into where we want to go. Now, but we do now have an opportunity, as this is in the opportunity place. Let's see, where are you? You were showing up just great a minute ago. In that art of rituals here, what I'm looking at on that is that we're going to be in a place where we are connecting back in with who we want, what we desire to experience, that art of rituals. Bringing that up a little bit more. Let's take a look at that art of rituals. And then I also noticed that there's 3 aspects to that person. We have the higher self, we have the grounded being, and then down below, who do we have but our shadow? Interesting. So that energy starts pulling in, and we start getting into a place where we're feeling very kind of on the bland, blasé Nothing really cooking on our behalf. And then where does this lead us to? And we actually have 4 cards on this. So we get back into where we decide how we're going to roll, what we want to roll with, and where does this lead us to? And that final aspect, where does the weekend end with? And we look at the emotions card. And in this, emotions, through here, what we're looking at is that we do open up. We do start to see this connection between our body, our mind, and our spirit, and then how we interconnect in with the greater world. When I'm looking at this eye, I'm getting like deep insight, discernment, learning from some of the choices that we've been making. Our obstacle here is that we think we know everything, and sometimes we don't know very much at all. And this is that gentle reminder of that sometimes we don't know very much at all. You know, it's kind of like you don't know the whole story until you're in the middle of the whole story. But let's see where this all leads us to. We have divine sensuality plays a big role in this final outcome of the week. And when I'm looking at her, I'm thinking this sense of wholeness, this sense of being, this sense of connecting and connectedness. I don't know, it's something within that skirt. I feel like coming in through a full cycle and beginning anew. And then the last card is the feminine cycle. And it's upside down, but it's an opportunity. And the message that I'm getting, and I'm getting it pretty loud and clear, is that although it starts out as a rough kind of weekend, it ends up with this great sense of balance. And you do bring in that balance of your male aspects and your female aspects and bring them into a place of harmony. So I think that's going to end up being a great end of the weekend. Just a couple of rough spots. And tell me, what do you think I should replace that with? I absolutely do not like it. So peace, love, and harmony. I hope your day is most awesome.